Good morning, the learner. Today we are going to study as an important topic in research methodology, the classification of research based on approach. In the last class, we was discussed on the based on purpose. This classification help us to understand how research is conducted and what method are used to collect and analyze the data. The first important thing, let us understand what we means of approach. The approach means the researcher or research refer to overall strategy, method adopted by the researcher to the study of any type of the problems. The important thing in a simple word, the research approach tell us what type of data will be collected in the our research, how the data will be collected, it's important thing in the our research, how the data will be analyzed in our research, what method will be used to answer the research question. So all these approach your research tell us. So based on this, the research is mainly divided into three different types: the quantitative research, qualitative research, and mixed method research. This is the basic classification of research on the basis of purpose, on the basis of approach, on the basis of method, on the basis of time dimension. Today lecture we will discuss about the basic classification of research on the basis of approach. The classification of research by approach, this means today we are not just studying what research is, but important thing is how research is carried out. The research approach refer to the methods and process used to collect and analyze the data. The simple meaning is the research approach, just like the research approach, it means refer to the methods and process used to collecting the data and analyze the data. In simple word, it tell us how the researcher conducted the study, what kind of data is collected, and how it is interpreted in the research to find out any kind of the conclusions. So it guide the overall direction of the study. So this is very important. Once you choose an approach, your entire research, your tool of method and analysis will follow the specific of direction. The main type of research by the approach, this is the first one is the qualitative research, second was the quantitative research, and third one is mixed data. The first is we discuss the qualitative research by the approach. So now we move the first type of research of approach, which is qualitative. Qualitative means we are focusing of quality, not in the numbers. It is, when we look at the first point on the slide, is non-numerical data. Is your study is based on non-numerical data, that is means your study is qualitative research. This is means your approach is qualitative. So this means qualitative research does not deal with the numbers, does not deal with the statistics. Instead, it's focus on words, description, and observation. So on the basis of your focus of word, description, and observation, we collect the information, and this information not numerical in data in the form of quality. The second important thing is non-numerical data is means exploratory in nature. This is the qualitative research. This is the feature. The first feature of exploratory in nature. The first feature is exploratory nature. Exploring means the explore. So this type of research is used when we want to explore a new idea or understanding something deeply. For example, if we want to explore why some athletes feel nervous before the competition, before the exam, before the participation of any kind of the activities, so we use the qualitative research. Next important thing, the depth understanding. So in depth understanding, here the aim is not just surface level information, but important thing is deep insight into a problems. We go for the deep. The researchers try to understand feeling of athlete, thought, experience, and then after that he will be reach in a specific of conclusions. Next important thing is the focus on understanding experiences, opinion, and behavior. In qualitative research, the main focus is to understand the pupil experiences, opinion, feeling, thought, and behavior in details. instead of collecting the only numerical data and just go on. No, you just go for in detail. The researcher try to know how people thinks, how people feel, how people react, how people react in the real life situation, and how people feel or how people react in a problem, a specific problem in specific situations. For example, if you interview player about their motivations, confidence, stress, you are collecting the qualitative data. You go for any kind of the interview, face-to-face interview, live interview, online interview, and if you're asking about his confidence, asking about his motivation, asking about the stress level of different situations, this means you collecting the data of qualitative data. Next important thing, the flexible and open-ended approach. So finally, that is the approach is the flexible and open-ended approach. This means there is no fixed answer, because we ask the question, the player will reply in his own way. The questions are open-ended, not closed-ended. The question always are open-ended, and the researcher can adjust during these studies on the basis of the reply of the players or subjects. For example, during an interview, new question can be added based on the response of the respondent, because on the basis of respondent response, you can analyze, you can revise of your question, and you can add of new question. So learner, in a simple word, the qualitative research help us to understand why and how people think and behave just like. Especially we're discussing in the sports, it is very useful for studying psychological factor, team dynamics, and athletic or athlete experience in a different situation. Now think and tell me, for example, my dear participants, if I ask a player about their feeling after losing a match, which type of research is this? This is a simple, is the qualitative research. Next important thing, what type of the characteristics of the qualitative research is. Now we will understand the characteristics of qualitative research, which help us to identify how this approach actually work in a real life situation. So let's go through each points one by one. Number one is flexible in design is a qualitative research and always inflexible. In qualitative research, design is not fixed. The research can make change during the studies on the basis of response of the respondent. For example, while interviewing an athlete, new question can be added based on their response. This is the flexibility in the type of research, help in a deeper understanding about any point or any concept. Next important is subjective analysis. Here the interpretation depend on the researcher understandings, because the reasoning power, understanding, knowledge, approach of the researchers, so its interpretation depend on the researcher understanding. So how much understanding researcher has, on the basis of the interpretation you will find out. That is means the understanding of research is very important in the qualitative research. Unlike numbers, the data is based on opinion and experience. Here you are find feeling, your thinking, your motivation level. So the researcher carefully analyze meaning, feeling, perspectives of his behavior and in the different situations. Third one is the small sample size, because the qualitative research, because we go for the quantitative research, we just receive the data in the form of numbers, but here we go for the qualitative research, so we should go for the small sample size. So research usually involve a small number of participants, because the focus is on depth, not quantity. This is on quality, on depth, not the quantity. For example, studying 5 to 10 athletes in detail, rather than we are going for the studies 100 and 200 and 500 athletes superficially. The next important thing is interview, observation, and case studies. These are main tools used in the qualitative research: interview, observation, and case studies. In interview, we ask open-ended questions. In observation, we study behavior directly. In a case study, we deeply analyze one individual or any organization or any situation For example, observing a player behavior during the match. This is a type of the example of qualitative research. Next one is thematic analysis. Thematic analysis means the data is analyzed by identifying the common themes or common patterns. For example, if many athletes mention the pressure, lack of confidence, these become key themes in research. Because some player is come into the pressure on a specific situation. So this is the key theme of the research. So student or learner, remember the qualitative research is flexible in nature, detailed, and focus on the understanding the human experiences rather than the numbers. This is the qualitative research, has some characteristics. Now look at this diagram. In the center you see the qualitative research, and around it is key concept. Subjectivity means, first is subjectivity, means understanding this something based on personal feeling, opinion, experience, or belief rather than exact fact of the number. In qualitative research, subjectivity is an important because the pupil may have different thought and experience about the same situation. You have same situation, everyone has the different type of feeling, understanding. The researchers try to understand these personal viewpoints. Just next, for example, two athletes may experience some training program differently. We have same training programs, different athletes feel differently. One athlete may feel motivated and confident, and another athlete might feel tired and stressed. So both opinions are personal and based on individual experience. This is called subjectivity of research. This visual help to understand the core nature of qualitative research in a simple way. Just like the qualitative research is subjective, which means is based on personal views, experiences, interpretation. For example, two athletes may describe same situation indifferently. Next important thing is the naturalistics, means studying people or event in their real or natural environment without artificial control and laboratory conditions. You just conduct research is natural, real environment, not in the artificial or laboratory condition. Especially we discuss in the qualitative research, the researcher observe or interact with the participant where they normally live, where they are normally work, where they are normally participates. So this help to understand real behavior, real experiences. Just like we giving the example of observing the student during the actual physical education classes. Observe the athlete performance in a different conditions. Next important thing, this is having the nature of inductive reasoning method. Inductive reasoning means this is a type of method of thinking in which a researcher start with the specific observation or experiences and then develop a general conclusion or theory. So we are collecting the observation and develop a general conclusion or theories. In a simple word, it means moving from specific to general. So in qualitative research, a researcher observe the pupil, he collect the information of data, identify the patterns of this situation, and then form a specific type of the conclusion. Next important thing, the interpretation and meaning making. Interpretation and meaning making means the understanding and explaining the meaning of the pupil experiences, just like the opinion, action, and behaviors. In qualitative research, the researcher does not only collect the information. You just collect is not possible. It's just does not only the collect the information, but also tries to understand what that information means from the participant's point of view. So for example, if any athlete says training made me more confident, the researcher interpret this statement to understand how sports training influence self-confidence and personal development. Next is the qualitative research is richness and depthness of the qualitative research. So what is the richness and depthness means? Collecting the detailed, meaningful and comprehensive information about the person's experience, feeling, opinion, behavior. Especially we discuss in the field of the qualitative research. The goal is not just to get the short or simple answer. This means the goal is just not get the short and simple answer, but to understand a topic deeply and clearly from the different perspectives. For example, instead of only asking whether the student like the sports or not, so the researcher may ask why do they like sports, how do sport affect their confidence, what experience motivate or discourage them. So these detailed responses provide richness and depth to the research. Thus, the richness and depth help the researcher. Important thing is especially for the gaining and a complete and deeper understanding of real life experience and human behavior. Next important thing is the flexibility. The qualitative research has the flexibility, means ability to change, ability to adjust the research process according to situation and according to need and new information. In qualitative research, the research is not always restricted, especially to fix a point or a strict procedure. The researcher can modify the question, ask the additional question, explore new ideas during these studies. Next is the contextualization. That is the final key characteristics of the qualitative research. This means the findings are understood within a specific context and situations. For example, an athlete perform may be influenced by crowd, environment and personal condition. So student, this diagram show the qualitative research is deep, flexible, context based and focus on the understanding the human experience in real life situation. This means the contextualization means the findings are understood within the specific context and situation, not for the generalized one. Here we discuss about the method of the qualitative research. Generally we use in the qualitative research three method: interview, observation and case study. As you can see this diagram, there are three main methods: interview, observation and case study. So interview are a method of data collection in which the researcher asks the question directly to the participant to understand their experience, opinion, feeling and behavior in a specific context. In qualitative research, interviews help the researcher to collect the detailed data and depth information through the conversation and discussion with the participants. Just like we giving the example of researcher may interview athlete to understand their motivation, training experience, challenges in sports participants. So this is the interview, and the interview may be in the two and three different types, just like the interview is structure interview. Here are the fixed and planned questions. Second type of interview is semi-structures. So some question is fixed and we giving this some flexibility for further discussion on the basis of the responses of respondent. And third is unstructured interview, means open or free conversation. So this interview are useful for gaining the deep understanding and personal insight from the participants. Next one is the observation. Observation methods of data collection in which the researcher carefully watch, observe in natural setting and record the participant actions, behavior, activities in natural settings. In qualitative research, the observation help the researcher they understand the real life of situation, behavior directly without depending on the participant answer. Just like we giving the example, the researcher may observe the student participation in physical activity, player participation in matches, coaches interact with the player. The important thing is observation can be participant observation or non-participant observation. So participant observation means the researcher become a part of the group or activity. This means participant observation method. Next is non-participant observation method, means the researcher only watch without participating. So this is two different process of observing the method of data collection. Next is the case study. Generally, case study involve an in-depth analysis of a single individual, team, situation on a specific type of studies. It's provide detailed information over a period of times. For example, studying of complete training routine, psychology and performance of a single elite athlete, or case study of any international athlete from his birth to his death, or his performance. So learner remember the interview simple. Here we conclude of this slide, the asking and understanding of experience generally help to interview, or the asking the understanding of experience. In this observation we go for the watching real behavior, and case study we go for the deep study of one case. Next important thing is we giving some example of qualitative research, just like study on students experience in yoga classes. This means the researcher is not measuring the performance with number, but trying to understand how student feel during the yoga classes. Second is data collection through the interview. So here the researchers talk directly to the students and ask the open-ended questions like, how do you feel after the yoga? Does yoga help you reduce the stress? So through these process we collect the data. Next is theme identify, like motivation and all these things. After the collecting the response, researcher analyze the theme and identify the common ideas or pattern. Next is the conclusion based on the pattern in response. Finally, the conclusion based on pattern in responses. Instead of using statistics, the conclusions draw from these repeated themes. For example, the researcher may conclude that the yoga improve mental well-being and reduce stress among the participants. So learner, this is a example clearly show that the qualitative research focus on experience, collecting the data through the interactions, and draw conclusion based on the common pattern. This type of research is very useful especially in the field of physical education and sports, especially when they're studying the psychological and behavioral aspect of the athlete. Next is the quantitative research. Quantitative research is the research that focus on the collecting the numerical data, analyzing it with the help of the different statistical method. It use the measure the variables used to measure the variable, test hypothesis, examine the relationship between the different factors in an objective and systematic way. So this important thing is the quantitative research means the based on number and use of measurement and statistical analysis. So now we move to the second type of research of the quantitative research. The important thing, the first point is based on numerical data. This means quantitative research deal with the numbers, qualitative research not deal with the numbers. So here we focus on the numbers. All data collected is measurable. For example, recording the sprint time, recording heartbeat, recording the heart rate, number of push-ups, distance covered. All these data come in the form of number. This is called a quantitative research. Second important thing is use measurement and statistical analysis. Here we do not only collect the data, but important thing, they also analyze it using the statistics like mean, standard deviation, t-test, ANOVA, MANOVA, and regression analysis, relationship. For example, comparing pre-training and post-training performance on an athlete. In the quantitative research, first we collect the information in the form of number, and after that we through the statistical analysis we are trying to find out the specific conclusion. Next important thing is focus of testing of hypothesis and objective and structure approach. The third thing is focus of the testing of hypothesis. Hypothesis generally a statement on the basis of limited evidence. In quantitative research, we start with the hypothesis that is called the prediction. For example, strength training improve the muscular endurance. Then we test this using the data and statistical method, and after that we reach a specific of conclusion. So finally, the objective and structure approach. Next thing is, so this means the research is unbiased and follow a fixed procedure. There is no personal opinion involved in that type of research. Only it's based on the number, only it's based on the fact are considered in that type of. The quantitative research answer the questions just like how much, how many, and to what extent. So this is the important thing. There the characteristics of quantitative research is objective measurement first. Objective measurement means data is based on fact and exact value like heart rate and speed, not the opinion. Second, large sample size. The studying many participants make the result more reliable and generalizable. So we take the large number of data. Replicable of results. Important thing with the quantitative research is the same study can be produced similar result when repeated under the same condition. Next, important, the use of tool. The standardized test, questionnaire, scale are generally used for the data collection and analysis of data. Next is the result expressed in the form of number and percentage and statistical techniques. The statistical techniques means first we collect the data, after we check the data if normality, and according to need we can go for the further statistic analysis, ANOVA, t-test, mean, standard deviation, and finally numerical result of finding are expressed in the term of numbers, score, percentage. In short, the quantitative research is objective, measurable and based on statistical analysis. Here is a three different method of generally we use for in the quantitative research is survey, experiment and statistical modeling. So as you can see this slide, three different models. The first is survey. Survey generally used to collect the data from the large number of people using the structure questionnaire. First we prepare the questionnaire, distribute and collect the information. The questionnaire generally use close-ended, such as multiple choice question, rating scale. For example, in physical education, you may ask the student to rate their fitness level or physical activity on the scale of 1 to 5. So some giving 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the basis of any scale we find converted to data in numbers. Next is means experiment. The experiment are a research method used to test the effect of one variable on the another, especially in the control condition. In experimental research, the researcher change or control one factor called the independent variables, and other its effect on the another factor is called the dependent variable. The independent variables is effect on the dependent variable. For example, researcher may study, for example, 6 weeks exercise program improve muscle strength in student. So here the exercise program is independent variable, the muscular strength is dependent variables. The main purpose of experiment is to identify cause and effect relationship scientifically. Third one is statistical modeling. This method involves using the mathematical and statistical technique to analyze the relationship between the different variables. The two variables, we have the independent variable, we have the dependent variable, to find out the relationship, and on the basis of we can predict the future. For example, prediction performance based on the factor like age, training hours, diet and the regression analysis. So we can find out the future performance, just like students remember, just like we go for the survey. So generally survey use of collecting the data for many pupils. Next is the experiment. This is the method of the quantitative research. The experiment means testing cause and effect, and statistical modeling, and third is the analyzing the relationship using the mathematics. These methods make quantitative research scientific, accurate and reliable. Next important thing is the quantitative research importance. So now let the understand the importance of the quantitative research in the field of physical education. This will help you to see this approach is widely used in sports and fitness field, just like the objective measurement. Next important thing is the evaluation of training program and statistical analysis of for the decision making. Important thing, the objective of measurement. The quantitative research help to measure the fitness component like strength, endurance, speed, flexibility. But next is evaluating of training program. So first we go for the training program, and then through the we collect the data, and after that we can be evaluate. And next one is coaches and teacher can use statistical result to make the scientific decision about the training load. And important thing is the comparison of between group. Next important things of the quantitative research, in which we have the collected data of different group. Through the different statistical technique we can conclude. The quantitative research help us to compare the different group in a scientific way. Next is the evidence-based practice. This is very important in modern physical education and sport. The quantitative studies finding the provide the scientific evidence that help to improve teaching method, coaching technique, and sports policies. Next one is mixed method research. The mixed method research is means the research that combine both qualitative and quantitative research approach in a single study. It use numerical data as well as the detailed personal experience to gain more complete understanding of the research problem. Mixed method research is means we have the qualitative data and quantitative data in both in one study. Now we move the third type of research. This is name is suggests this is the mixed method. The approach is means combination of method is use both qualitative and quantitative. So combination of method means the first is the combination of method means in mixed method researchers collect the both numerical data and descriptive data. Next important is the comprehensive analysis. Comprehensive analysis means a complete detailed examination of a topic, of a problem, set of data from the different perspectives. Especially in the research, comprehensive analysis involves studying all important aspects carefully to gain a deeper and clear understanding of the subjects. So by the examine of all these factors, so thus the comprehensive analysis help the researcher make accurate conclusion and better decision based on detailed and wide-ranging information. Next is the balance approach. A balanced approach means using different methods just like the idea, perspective in a fair and proper way without depending too much on only one side. In the research, a balanced approach often refer to the combining the strength of different research method to get more accurate and complete result. Next important thing, both numerical and descriptive data. So in the type of mixed method, generally we collect the data in both numerical data and descriptive data. Both numerical and descriptive data means research collect and studies two type of information, numerical information and descriptive information. This is commonly seen in mixed method research where both type of data are used to together for the better understandings. Next is the provide the comprehensive understanding. Comprehensive understanding means giving a complete detail and clear understanding about the topic problem from the different prospects. Especially in the research, this happens when the researcher studies the problem using the various type of the information, method, viewpoint instead of focus on only one aspects. So by the combining of the both, the researcher gain the broader and deeper understanding of the research problems. So here is you see in your screen a design just like the qualitative research. We collected the data of qualitative and we collected data of quantitative, and both are combining and used in a single research. This is called the mixed method type of research. The advantage of mixed method type of research, it means it is rich data, triangulation and improved validity. Just like the first is means the rich data. The mixed method provide detailed and complete data. We get the numerical result from the quantitative research and in-depth insight from the qualitative research. For example, in sport, we can measure the performance score and also understand the athlete feeling and experience. So this make the data more meaningful. Second is triangulations, means this is very important concepts. Triangulation means using the multiple method or sources to study of any or same time of the problem. You have one problem to use multiple method or multiple sources to solve this. So when the result from both qualitative and quantitative data, the data support each other, the findings become stronger and more reliable. Third one is the improved validity. Because we use more than one method in our research, qualitative and quantitative, the accuracy of research increase. The results are more trustworthy and valid. The mixed method research provide the rich data, strong evidences from with the help of qualitative and quantitative information and more accurate results. Next important thing is this characteristics of mixed method research. Number one is the combined survey and interview. The mixed method research use both quantitative and qualitative techniques Generally, the survey are used to collect the numerical data, and interview, through the interview we collect the feelings, information of experience and opinion. So both are combining and generally used in our research. Next is the statistical plus thematic analysis in both. In mixed method research, two type of analysis generally used. First, statistical analysis applied for the numerical data, just like the percentage, T or ANOVA. A thematic analysis generally used for descriptive data. So where the researchers identify the common ideas, theme, pattern from the interview and observations. So together these analyses provide deeper understanding of the result and strong validity of your result using more than one method that increase the accuracy of your data and result trustworthy of your result or research findings. So when numerical results and participant experience support each other, the conclusion becomes stronger and more reliable. So this improve the validity of this study. Next is the broader interpretation of the result. The mixed method research allow the researcher to interpret finding from the different perspectives because we have the broader interpretation aspects. The numerical data explain what happened, while descriptive data explain why and how it's happened. So this helps the researcher to develop a broader and more meaningful understanding of the research problems. We gave some example of mixed method, just like the study on impact of sport participation on academic performance. So first of all, we are collecting the data of quantitative data, is academic score. We collecting the data from the academic score, that is called the quantitative data, and second we collecting the data from the student interview by the conducting of interview, just like the quantitative data is behavior and approach and all these things. So both are integrated interpretation of the findings. Here is the comparative table of all three type of the research, quantitative, qualitative and mixed method. So generally qualitative research is based on data of numerical and statistical analysis generally used, in which we test the hypothesis and the sample size is large. But we go for the quantitative research. The quantitative research is a descriptive type of research generally based on the thematic and explore the meaning of, and this type of research has the very small sample size. But mixed method generally is the mix for the qualitative and quantitative aspect. This is means the numerical and descriptive data both are generally used, and statistical and thematical analysis generally used in the mixed type of research. And the main purpose is the comprehensive understanding of development, and sample size may be short, may be large, and generally we use the moderate type of sample analysis. Thank you very much the all participants. Here we conclude of this today's this session. In conclusion, research can be classified based on the different approach. You go for the qualitative and quantitative and mixed method, each serving the different type of the purpose. The qualitative research help us to understand the experience, behavior, and quantitative research generally provide the measurement and objective data in the form of numbers, just like. But we go for the mixed method. The mixed method is the combining of the qualitative and quantitative informations. So choosing the right approach is essential for conducting the meaningful and effective research, especially in the field of physical education and sports sciences. Thank you very much.